today's event, I'm very excited.
Yes.
I have invested in a project. I have never found time to visit. It's my first time to come and to see anything.
So this is the first time?
It's the first time I'm setting foot on this project.
Since you started investing?
Since I started
When was
investing.
it?
Yeah. Very wonderful. There is a lot of transparency. Everything is clear. And if you have any query, you get immediate help. But so far, everything is clear. You get your statements, you get the report. That's why I did have to come and check. Yeah.
They say, but we believe that the youth are the present.
Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Join a community of the change makers. Who dare to dream big and make it happen. Who will challenge the norms and those who dare to click on the banner to join the movement today.
A very good evening to everyone who's watching us. And today, our very own. Introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mother, for the introduction. I work closely with Martha.
My child.
Thank you. When it comes to helping investors achieve financial independence.
Yeah. I'd like us to pray so that we start the session. So let's pray. A beautiful evening that you've. Don't take it for granted, oh Lord. Increase in us, increase your wisdom in us, oh Lord, that we may be able to have great understanding, oh Lord, and we may be able to pass rights out there, oh Lord. How I thank you for everyone who's watching us and those who will watch us even after the live session, that they better decisions. We are who we have arrived where we are just because of you. We thank you. So again, welcome back. This is the frequently asked questions series, and this is excited. Of course, the purpose. Little facts that people don't, sort of talk about them deeply when it comes to investments, and hopefully we are talking about choosing an investment, and we are very, very particular with a very critical bit of investing. So there are very many factors to consider when choosing an investment. Most assumed, and when I'm talking about nature, I'm talking about the passiveness of the investment and the activeness of the investment. And it's assumed very huge role in that investment. It defines how the expectation in terms of the return on investment. So we have, seen this aspect as a very critical point towards your process to investing, and that's what we're talking about today. And so, of course, as I had mentioned, I'm hosting Jeff Munene one of my children, so one of the people I've mentored here in Savo. And yeah, so what is an active investment in your perspective?
When you say children, you make yourself look very old.
I am very old.
In Savo.
In Savo?
Yeah.
Guys,
So,
yes.
so I think as Mother has mentioned, when it comes to the you're choosing, I don't think there are so many people that ask themselves, what's the nature of this investment? I think sometimes our decision-making process is normally based on the environment around us. By environment, I mean I think people prefer to choose active investments over passive investments.
Yes.
Could be because, number one, of the environment, could be because of maybe people are not aware.
Awareness.
Yes, awareness
yes.
of the sort of investment that they're getting themselves into. And then it's just following the masses. Whatever
Yes.
people are doing is what you also want to get yourselves into.
Yeah.
So maybe I can just briefly explain what an active investment is from my understanding, because again, there are so many different definitions as to what an active investment means, depending on of course, the sort of knowledge that you have. So an active investment is something that I actively need to put my money on so that it gives me a return.
Yes.
By actively putting my money on means if I want this sort of investment, then every month I have to put in money. It's a continuous process. At no point does it get passive.
Yes.
Every month I know it's like I'm paying a bill, for example, but I know there's a sort of return that I expect every month. So that is what I will define as an active investment. I think we'll get later as we discuss into what a passive investment is, but now we can try and demystify what sort of active investment means.
Yeah.
So for some of the examples of country in general, we've had, of course we know, invest in land. It's what we get a lot of even people marketing outside there. The sort of information that comes to us.
It's actually what is glorified.
Yes, yes, exactly. But
itself is not making. When you're side of it, there is how one of the people I've mentored here in Savo. And yeah, so what is an active investment in your perspective?
when you say children, you make yourself look very old.
I am very old.
In Savo.
In Savo.
Yeah.
Guys,
So
yes.
So I think as Mother has mentioned, when it comes to decision making, when it comes to what sort of investment you're choosing, I don't think there are so many people that ask themselves, what's the nature of this investment? I think sometimes our decision-making process is normally based on the environment around us. By environment, I mean the kind of people that we surround ourselves with.
Yes.
And more often than not, I think people prefer to choose active investments over passive investments.
Yes.
Could be because, number one, of the environment, could be because of maybe people are not aware.
Awareness.
Yes, awareness
yes.
of the sort of investment that they're getting themselves into. And then it's just following the masses. Whatever people are doing is what you also want to get yourselves into.
Yeah.
So maybe I can just briefly explain what an active investment is from my understanding, because again, there are so many different definitions as to what an active investment means, depending on of course, the sort of knowledge that you have. So an active investment is something that I actively need to put my money on so that it gives me a return.
Yes.
By actively putting my money on means if I want this sort of investment, then every month I have to put in money. It's a continuous process. At no point does it get passive.
Yes.
Every month I know it's like I'm paying a bill, for example, but I know there's a sort of return that I expect every month. So that is what I will define as an active investment. I think we'll get later as we discuss into what a passive investment is, but now we can try and demystify what sort of active investment means.
Yeah.
So for some of the examples of land of active investments include land.
Yes.
I think as a country in general, we've had, of course we know, either traditionally, even up to date, invest in land. It's what we get a lot of even people marketing outside there. The sort of information that comes to us.
It's actually what is glorified.
Yes, yes, exactly. But also land has its own disadvantages. Yeah, maybe you can mention some of the not per se disadvantages, but maybe how we perceive land versus how we should be perceiving an investment.
So I think, and maybe just to take you back, when we're talking of active investment, beyond just actively putting your money, you actively also put in your time.
Yes.
You're actively, actually not actively, physically involved in the entire process for you to get a return.
Yes.
And land is usually a very difficult scenario, situation when you're talking about investment, just because there are people who've benefited from it directly, and there are people who have not really thought through it, and so the land itself is not making money for you. And so when you're thinking of land, of course, when you're looking at the active side of it, there is taking care of the land. There is fencing and ensuring there's a Kamasai there who's taking care of it. Of course, if you're thinking of utilizing your land actively, now things like farming and things like those. But for you to actually be successful in that space, you really need to be there. So if you're someone in the diaspora or you're not very close to where the land is, then it means you have sort of an inconvenience, because you have to go see how the shamba is doing. If you're doing farming, you need to actually be physically there and ensure how we be with shamba. But we can't ignore the fact that land has also worked for very many people, in the sense that you can use it as collateral. If you have land where it's in a location where you can actually build, it's an option that you can go for instead of going the mortgage way. So it has all its disadvantages, and it also has its own advantages. So also some bit of that is when it comes to land, there's also some aspect of control. If I've bought a plot of land somewhere, I have little to no control of the people that are around me, or the sort of amenities that are around me, which is also you could be at an advantage and you could be at a disadvantage as well. That depends on so many economic factors. Maybe onto the second type of active investment is a business. I have, for example, your hair looks really good. I have a salon. Oh, he's giving me a compliment to the imagine. So you're running a salon business somewhere. That is a sort of active investment. Because I need to, number one, start with even marketing. If I've started a salon today, I need to do a lot of marketing. That I'm actively putting effort into to be able to actually get customers to come in and to come to my salon. I have to hire people. I have to manage these people. So there's a lot of capital input that comes there, but you have little to no control of the output that comes from it, because now that is dependent on so many biases also. People have a lot of biases when it comes to the sort of places they choose to do. That's not only salon businesses, but also looking at other sorts of businesses. I think even speaking around businesses, speaking from a point of experience, I have always been running a business. I am just always doing something. But you realize that at one point or another, you think you have control, especially when you're starting a business. It's usually a soft landing where you think this is an investment that I actually have control, but in really sense, because even you being an employer or employee, you are already actively invested somewhere in your day-to-day activity. So highly likely your business is just being run by someone you have hired. And so lack of control around your customers, so those who want to choose your business, lack of control around the people you've employed, just because as much as you have really picked up the best, if someone does not have the vision that you have in that business, they might fail. And also lack of control of just, over time, things like now machines, they fail. And so in my business, sometimes it just stresses me because I'm always called, this is not working, this is not working. So for me, I have experienced that active business actively. I wouldn't ignore the fact that it can make you profit, but you have now these disadvantages. So if you don't have a clear goal, how are you accountable to the profits? Because every time it's not you're not thinking of this profit is to expand this business this way, but this profit is to sort this the expansion that has already been achieved. The profits you're gaining are either going back to the business or or you're eating, unfortunately.
yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
the lack of accountability, you know, if it's not well structured, you might really be stressed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, just to get on some of the disadvantages per se of an active business, more often than not, what I think is most people view active businesses as a short-term solution
Yes,
to a certain problem that you
Yes,
have. You don't have to look at it in the long run. Also, there is a lot of risk. There's a very huge risk factor when it comes to active businesses. So what if it fails today?
Yeah.
And I've put all my savings and all my energy into that. But that is not to discourage someone from doing an active business. It's very important.
Yes.
But in as much as you're considering an active business, you should be able to learn the advantages and the disadvantages. And also, we also have other forms of active businesses. Something like, I think nowadays, squeezy wanasemanga, there's wash. Per se. There's something like cryptocurrency, which I think most of us young people, especially in Nairobi, are getting ourselves into. For crypto, from my understanding, is I put money, then I do not have control again over the factors that influence as to whether I'll make profit or I'll make a loss into that. Maybe you can also...
I think one of the things that would come to mind is now, of course, now the forex trading. So we can't ignore the fact that it's still people are doing a lot of digital trading. I haven't involved myself in personally, but you know, it's an active investment that people put their money in. Of course, lack of control is a factor, lack of knowledge, and especially looking at the younger generation, which is about 60%. 60% of Kenyans are below the ages of 35. And these are the guys who are actually targeted for these huge trading things that go online. So there's a lot of, you remember Munene mentioned something about mass. So you do what other people are doing just because it's working for other people. So you're getting yourself into something that you've not fully understood. There's a risk to that just because you're not able to eliminate bottlenecks along the way. So as you're running something actively, whether it's an investment, whether it's a business, you really need to be able to say, you're able to analyze your risk and able to say, this is the amount of risk I'm willing to take up. This is how I can limit this risk. And these are the things that I have no control. But if you don't have knowledge of the field or the industry you're getting yourself into, whether it's active or passive, it might fail simply because you're not able to see the hurdles and you're not able to see the bottlenecks and see how you can get rid of them.
I think it's very attractive. That's why active investments tend to attract a lot of people. It's very attractive at the beginning. You just see, then this comes, then you'll be able to do this and this and that. You don't necessarily get to see those hurdles that are in between. But that's why we're here today, I think, to give information.
I think also when you're thinking of the advantages of active, because I wouldn't encourage someone to have one single line of investment, just because diversification also really helps, for sure. So you might have invested in this. Could you read about other channels of making money for you to fast track your journey towards financial independence? So as I mentioned, for me, active business has been something that I have experienced. I've learned, I've lost cash, but the advantage that you have is, and unfortunately things happen, things like COVID happened and people lost their jobs. So you have a sort of, it's an illusion, but quote unquote, I want to call it I know it's an illusion, but you have sort of a landing spot. If you're making profits and you've really understood your business, you're able to recover. So if you say, for example, unfortunately, your active investment is just your employment, that is not sufficient. So you need to have other investments that sort you, even in times of need, that you can liquidate whatever, whether it's an investment, you can rise up again.
So that's forms that are associated with active investments. So maybe we can get a little deeper into passive investment.
So what's your take on passive?
So my definition of a passive investment is just very simple. It's actually very simple. Making my money work for me. There is no other definition that beats that. And when I say making my money work for me, it means I have already sorted this. So then I expect some form of return. Could be monthly, could be semi-annually, could be annually, but I expect some form of return from the from the sort of investment that I've made.
Yes.
And some of the forms, the common forms of active investments are, for example, government bonds.
Yes.
I think recently we saw the government has issued certain bonds that are very, very attractive for so many people. And when it comes to government bonds, they have a very good return on investment. You look at about 12, between 12 to around 14%. They're attractive in a way that it's very, the interest that you get from this bond is very high, and you get it semi-annually. So it means I can be able to plan for 6 months to invest because I know there is some sort of income that's coming in.
Yes.
But also now the backside of that is the principal amount that I put in is that exact same principal amount that I will get at the end of this tenor, because it's very long term. You're talking about 20 years, 15-year bond, 10-year bonds, maybe short term is 3 years, but that is not enough to sustain me for the next 15 years. You look at something like capital appreciation. Yeah, I will get my initial investment. I think right now, bread is retailing at almost 70 shillings. Yeah? If I had 1,000 shillings now, there's something that's called time value of money. 1,000 shillings today is not worth 1,000 shillings tomorrow. So as much as I've put in this amount of money and I'll get the money after 15, it will be worth about either half or a quarter of that price. As much as I'm getting these semi-annual payments, they're a very good sort of investment, but I would consider them for diversification, not as my main sort of investment. Diversification, like you said, it's very, very important. And also you have to get yourself into these sort of investments with a lot of knowledge. Do not just go in because people are doing something. You might find maybe from this bond, I don't know a lot of information about it. I don't know if I want my money back, if I have an emergency today, what happens next. So there's those sort of things that you should, the nitty-gritties that you should look at before actually getting yourself into something like that. Maybe another sort of investment is money market. I think recently we have seen an introduction of so many money market funds. It can get confusing. And also money market, you need to understand what sort of investment is it. Do not just see the return and get attracted to it. Money market is very good in that my money keeps. What I like about money market, like real estate, is the compounding aspect.
Factor.
I put in my money today, tomorrow it will give me 1 shilling. That 1 shilling will be factored in as I continue investing. But I think if you look at money market and also the bonds, there's one aspect that is usually common across both. Right now we are looking at inflation. Inflation means the cost of living, everything is going up. And when inflation is factored in, my 1,000 shilling today or my 1 million shilling today will not be tomorrow. Exactly. We've seen even countries from a very big perspective, the money that they're using is worthless because of inflation. Both of them are critically affected by inflation, and inflation affects the value of the money that you put in. So money market, it's a good also source of diversification, but I would consider it for emergency.
I think there was I got a very interesting perspective. Of course, in Tsavo, we are the investment side, and so we have people who invest. And one of my investors mentioned, we have been a society where you have been taught to always panic, to always think that there is a bad day, but really there is never something like a bad day. That's his explanation. It was very interesting. So for him, he said, I know that I need quick cash. I need to be able to liquidate my money. I know I've invested in real estate. I know I've invested in government bonds. I know I've done all these things, but I don't need to put my money in the bank. So instead of what we would call as savings or emergency fund, so instead of just having it lie in the bank, for him, his option is take this money in money market fund, somewhere where I can quickly remove the money when I need to, but it still works for me. Because having the money in the bank is like having money under your mattress. It's the same concept.
Doesn't add any value.
Doesn't add you value. So I think money market is a lot of knowledge required, a lot of understanding of what you're getting yourself into.
Yes.
which company are you working with, you know, what is the integrity behind this company.
Yes.
So all those questions, but it's not a source that we can of course ignore.
Yes.
Maybe just to ask you, what's your take on now things like affiliate marketing? And of course, right now we have gone into the AI
AI
world.
space, yes.
So forex trading that has now diverted fully into AI, where you
Yeah.
just put your investment and the AI ball just works.
Just works for you.
Yes.
Maybe I can start with the first question of affiliate marketing. If you look at, I'll give a very good example just to show you how affiliate marketing works. I think we have this famous boy band in Kenya called Sauti Sol. Sauti Sol was actually started more than 10 years ago.
2000. I saw the, yeah.
Yeah?
Uko.
Kitambo
Oh.
too. If you look at them and where they've come along from, I think maybe 10 years ago we were not very familiar, but they knew what they're doing. Yeah. Affiliate marketing works the same. It takes time before you actually gain traction. Maybe just to demystify what affiliate marketing is. Affiliate marketing is where I am able to benefit from a particular maybe product or company as a result of me engaging myself, or rather posting something like a link.
Yes,
then
for people to buy.
then that generates me cash flows more and more. If you also look at this should I say scale at which they work, they work in very, very small, you get small commission per se, because that's how it works.
It's like $1.
It's like $1 per, maybe per purchase or something. So it takes a very long time before I'm actually able to see how much I've been able to collect this month, but that keeps growing. So that's some form of affiliate marketing. The reason as to why we say it's passive is once I've done it, then I don't need to think about it. The commissions will be coming in overally. Then now we get into forex trading. AI, yeah. So AI has now helped people get into forex trading, because I'm just able to do to put my money somewhere, and that money I can be able to have some form of control.
Yeah.
I put a signal maybe here, this is how it works. Then after a certain level, maybe I tell the AI to no longer continue maybe putting my money into whatever source, whatever it is that they're investing in. It works like that. But also if you look at the risk factor, it's also quite high.
Quite high. Yeah.
So maybe, do you have any other examples of some form of passive income?
I think that really captures most of it, because you're either going into the digital space now. There's things like affiliate marketing, which at the very beginning it even becomes an active investment, just because you need to build your brand.
Yes.
And you need to build that link that people know. I'm able to buy through this link.
Yes.
If they don't know, you have to continuously market that link.
Exactly.
Looking at it, you mentioned that money working for you. It's a very interesting angle to look at it, where you're not actively putting your efforts on a day-to-day to get that return. I think in Savo we say earn while you sleep, literally.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's something that is very stress-free, something that does not consume your time. So you have, this time application that you can actually spread it beyond just this particular investment, which will allow you to also diversify. Because if you're very actively investing, you can't diversify because you're in the market.
You'll only be focusing on that one particular
I think, of course, when you're
investment.
thinking of passive, real estate is usually the to-go.
Yes.
Yeah, and this has been seen across the world. It's just not here in Kenya. We've been able to see that real estate can actually work for you.
Actually, a good example on how real estate works. If you look at the most rather prominent personalities in Kenya, most of them, of course, being politicians. Even in the world, most of their wealth is attributed to real estate. And it comes in very different forms. But if you look at actually most people that have been able to consistently grow this, they are people that have invested mostly in real estate. Yes.
I think when you're thinking of real estate as a form of passive income, you're looking at two angles. So, of course, there's the compounding factor. You're having this rental income that is coming, and it's coming every month. If you are well oriented with financial independence, you're able to take advantage of that and actually expound your wealth. You also have the aspect of capital gain. So this is something that you're buying today and guaranteed in 2 years, 3 years time, you have this appreciation percentage that is independent. So it's not like land that kama ishamba ni 1 million pay 1 million. So it's independent of its surrounding. That this this particular unit, this particular house will actually gain value over time.
Yes.
Regardless of what is happening around
Yes.
you. And of course, here in Kenya, I think we've not seen it so much, but the idea of flipping real estate, where you're purchasing this, you upscale it, you flip it, you purchase, and most people, of course, in the other countries really
That's what they do,
experience
yes,
that. Yeah,
yes.
that's what they do. But that is also an angle of real estate that you can enjoy while you're looking for passive investment. Of course, it's very tricky because it sounds very easy, but if you're not committed, if you're not disciplined, as much as the nature of that investment is
Yes.
good, it will fail.
Yes.
Just because if you say, for example, you're getting into real estate, you've done your first apartment, but you're taking the rent to piga sherehe,
Yes.
for example, or do
Exactly.
whatever,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it will never work because that compounding factor, you'll never feel it. You'll
Yes.
never be accountable to the income that is coming in every month.
Yeah. And also, I think the good thing about real estate, as you mentioned, there's capital gains, there's compounding, and there's also diversification.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to apartments.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we saw during COVID, most people were downscaling.
Yes.
I lived in, for example, a
three-bedroom.
three-bedroom apartment, so now I have to downscale to a lower one. But if I had a one-bedroom apartment somewhere or a studio somewhere, then it would be easy for me to just
Is your
make that
shelter.
shift.
Yeah.
There is always a fallback plan
Yes,
with real estate
yes,
as
yes.
compared to land. If I have an emergency today, I know that, by the way, since I'm expecting something at the end of this month, I should be able to sort
it
this
out.
out.
Yes.
And particularly, I think most people where they kind of choose between why passive and why active. If you look at the return. In real estate, especially the kind of investment model that we are into, it takes time.
It takes time.
Yeah? If you look at
9 years, 15 years.
9 to 15 years, 8 to 15 years, takes time. Most people are not
Patient.
Yes, exactly. People do not look at it in the long-term perspective.
But you see, when you're thinking of the long-term perspective, now the aspect that becomes profitable is the generational wealth.
Yes.
So you're doing this for your children's children. Yanile, I remember a long time when we were growing up, nobody would think, it would be possible to own an apartment in Nairobi.
In Nairobi, yes.
And it's either you're going the mortgage way and that you're designing your home, not necessarily an investment.
Yes.
Investment wasn't something, it wasn't a thing. It
Yes.
was for those guys at the top.
Yeah.
And right now, I think it's something to appreciate that the country has moved into a direction where people can actually own something
Yes.
in Kenya. So
Yes.
having that just aspect of, I know I'm doing this for the future. I'm doing this to sort the generations of the. Every time I pass by Windsor and I just look around that area, and the late Michuki was very familiar, hapo, and I just see what generational wealth can actually
Exactly,
do.
yeah.
That you will not exist, but your name will forever be remembered
Yes.
by the wealth that has been accumulated.
You'll actually leave a name.
Yes.
People will remember you for actually doing something.
Yeah.
That's the advantage of investing in especially the kind of model that we are in.
Yes.
And if you look at also I think the new trends that we have seen recently, we have something like Airbnbs.
Yes.
Yeah, rates also. Rates are also some form of passive investment, whereby I just buy some sort of share,
So like a share.
like
then
a
it
share.
gives
Then from that,
dividends.
it gives me dividends. And also, I think we forgot to mention something like shares and stocks.
And stocks.
Yeah, I need to be actively checking where is Safaricom share trading today. Am I able to get in and sell it? You see, those are some of the things I think that fall under active and passive investment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think our takeaway today is, of course, you can diversify into both. You
Yes.
can have both, and we can't ignore that active investment, is a whole. Just think about it. If you're employed somewhere and you're actively involved in ensuring that company flourishes,
Yes.
definitely that's your active investment.
Yes.
Because you've invested your time, and that's where you're getting your daily
Exactly.
income. And so active investment is something that cannot be ignored, but how can we also lie towards passive investment so that you have a balance of both, that you have something working for you and you have your money working for you,
Yes.
and then you have this thing that and hopefully if your active investment is employment or business, you are actually doing something that you love doing.
Exactly.
You're actually doing something that you love putting your time into, that will actually now generate for you income. And this other side we have now, money working for you, whether you enjoy it or not. You have an idea of, you know, an investment that you want to get yourself into, and you have money working for you.
Yes, and also I think there's a book that says you should have as many as 7 sources of income.
Yeah.
So in as much as you're investing also passively, you look at the active sort of investment, so that you can be able to cater for your today needs.
Yeah.
But you can for sure know that my tomorrow is catered for.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. As I had mentioned today, I was here with our very own Jeff Munene. He's a fire partner here at Tsavo. I was your host for today. Martha Inyuma is my name. I'm also a fire partner at Tsavo. This series we started about 4 weeks ago, the frequently asked questions.
Yes.
But we realized that we do our webinars from a very general perspective, and so we want to dive into the very, very little things that people really don't think about.
Exactly.
And I hope that this, the nature of the investment is a factor while you're considering where to put your money.
Yes.
Just because you'll be able to know how much time should I invest into, what capacity do I require, you know,
Yeah.
if it's physical capacity, if it's human resource, what do I need for me to be able to achieve X? And also have a goal.
Yeah.
Know where you want that money to take you. Have a financial goal so that when you're making money, you can enjoy the compounding factor, and you're
Yeah.
not just making to eat.
Yeah.
Because shida haziishi daily, and when money is there, problems will forever be there. So get a goal, decide this is where you want to go with your financial independence journey, and whether it's your active or your passive investment, let it drive you there. But hopefully we will all get to a place where we earn while we sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you, Munene, for being
Thank
here.
you so much as well. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Until
till
next time. Thank you.
Bye.
They say that the youth are the future, but we believe that the youth are the present.
Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek.
Join a community of the change makers, the innovators, the visionaries who dare to dream big and make it happen. They are the ones who will shape the future, who will challenge the norms, and who will create a better world for us all. Those who dare to dream big and make it happen. Click on the banner to join the movement today.
My experience in Tsavo is it's amazing because of the morals and the values the staff hold. So that makes us live in peace, and I love it here. I love it here. I love it here. Yeah.
Owning your first apartment in Nairobi has never been easier. It's simple. With zero deposit and 0% interest rate, you can pay as little as 30,000 per month for up to 5 years. Just divide the price by the number of months you want to pay. Visit www.tsavo.ke to learn more.